Hi team. So I'm just going to make this quick video to run through the yearbook students' request for our advisory pages to be made by advisory students. So I'm sharing my screen with you here, and the idea is for there to be a yearbook spread contest. So at the beginning, they're just thanking you for participating in our first annual advisory yearbook contest. We're asking each advisory to create a spread. A spread is a 2-page layout in design terms. So it would be like, here's a book, page 1, page 2, together. That's called a spread. And the spreads will be judged by yearbook seminar students. I highlighted this. I put a bunch of question marks because initially it was the hope that it would be going into some points for our advisory Olympics. Now that we're in this new situation of continuous learning rather than in-building learning, I'm not sure what that means, but we could still have a contest. But we could talk about that more later. More importantly is how this will all look. So I put the due date of May 4th. We could have a little wiggle room, but the longer we put that date out, then the later the books will come. So right now, if we get it in by the 4th, then my team can finalize their yearbook and it will be delivered to people's homes by June 5th. If we make it later, then we can have it delivered, anytime in August. But I was just thinking that maybe students would want to get their hands on it sooner than later. So again, that's flexible. But how you create your spread is, first of all, I did send you an email. Well, Tree Ring sent you an email because I added each of you on as a staff editor on Tree Ring. So how you create your spread is outlined here in this box. So I'll share all of this with you also. What to include is outlined here in this box. Our theme is mapping our journey. We would like for advisory layouts to represent this theme. And there's bulleted information of everything that we would like included on the spread. And if you could just follow those directions, that would be great. Down here then is an advisory yearbook page rubric. This is what students were going to use in order to assess the contest rules. So again, this can be part of it or not part of it. I think it'd be fun if our advisors could get into it and then they win something, TBD. So I'm going to show you actually then how to do this in just a minute. I want to go back up here to what to include. So all student photos and student names need to be on the spread. And so if you don't have any students, if you have missing students, then that's this. Add any new student pictures, see above to upload a picture. So you need to take their picture or they can take their own picture, download it, and then upload it into Tree Ring and dump that into advisory. We're using pictures from Will from the beginning of the school year, and that's just impossible for us to be able to go back and get an actual school photo. So students can do their own self-portrait, which is awesome. If you'd also then delete any students that no longer are in advisory, that would be cool too. So we're considering like currently what students are in your advisory. So they would go into the book. If they were there at the beginning of the year and you still want to include them, I'm fine with that. I'll let you in your advisory decide that. Our general rule is if they're not at our school at the time of print, then they're, they don't need to be represented because most likely they're not buying a book either. So then you need to also have the teacher's name, teacher's picture. You have to have the teacher, like Bonnie's advisory written on there, or, you know, Sam's advisory written on there. The headline font needs to be Chantilly Antiqua size 24, and then any other font that you use is Centibel. So we want to keep that consistent for the purposes of it running through our entire yearbook. So please don't ask your students to get creative with, like, you know, all these new different kinds of fonts. We would like it to be that. And then this is the color scheme that they use. Outside of black, this would be the green that we've decided to use. The postcard background stays the same. We've provided that already, so you don't need to change anything. Again, we're trying to allow for some consistency. There's a green line there that's included that we'd like for you to keep. The compass logo is included. There's an X marks the spot graphic that's included that we'd like for you to use. And at minimum, one group picture of all of you. How you decide to do that, or if you've already taken a picture, that's all up to you. And then also to make sure that there isn't a yellow line around the edges of the spread, which is called the bleed line, or in the middle of it in the binder, which is called the gutter. If any of your stuff is touching that, then it won't make it into print. So what all of that means, I'm going to show you right now. So you go to Tree Ring, you're going to log on, treering.com. You get in using a password. You have to create your own password. And then you go to Edit Yearbook. You practice patience as it loads. And then Edit Book. And then this is where you'll see all of the spreads. You can look at it like this, and you can click on your advisory from there. You can also do it from the Manage page. So sometimes this is an easier view to look at. So I put all of your advisories down here. So you'll notice page 14 and 15, that spread is Darian's advisory, Karen's, and so forth. So I'm just gonna let's pick Emmanuel's. Over here on this side is anyone who can actually have access to editing your page. So currently that would be me, because I'm the chief editor. My initials won't appear here, but I have access to all things Tree Ring Yearbook. It's also Anna and Bella are the students that are assigned to advisory pages, and then now you, the teacher. So Emmanuel, you would have access to Emmanuel's advisory pages only. The rest of you teachers, now that you're made staff editors, you can view all the other pages, but you may only have access to editing where your initials are. As far as students doing it, then you can do one of two things. You could get on Zoom with them and they could tell you, and you can move and drop and drag things around. Or if there's one or two students who want to actually take over doing your advisory page, you can email me their names. I will set them up here then. So let's pretend that maybe it's Lewis Turner who wants to work on Bonnie and Katie's page. Send me his name, and down here, Bonnie and Katie's advisory, I would add Lewis to that so that he would be able to now have access to only those pages. All right, so back up to Emmanuel. You click over here on the actual icon of the thumbnail of the advisory page. And what Anna has done is she's set up everything on one side of the page here. That's mandatory, but you have two pages that you can set up in any format that you choose. So actually she would belong over there. So let's say that you want all of your students on this this right side of the postcard background. And by the way, they chose a postcard background because the theme is mapping our journey. And so they thought that a postcard was kind of an interesting way to do that. So let's say you want to set them up all in a line. You pull them all over here. I'll let you mess around with that. But it's really pretty intuitive. It's just like a drag and drop scenario. And then you would put their proper name. However you want to do that, you put their name with the student. So, you know, one, Zach Thornton on here is number 1. So then you find Zach's picture, and then maybe you put a number 1 here. Or you can retype it. You can do it any way you want. That's the challenge. That's the contest, is to design it in any format, but you can figure it out in any kind of configuration. Here's a picture of Emmanuel. So Emmanuel needs to be on there. The words Emmanuel's advisory. This is the green line they're talking about. You can move it up and down. You can move it over here. You can, you know, turn it upside down. You can do whatever you want with it by, you know, messing around with what that looks like. Like here's, oh, I can't do it now. I gotta capture it. I can shift it, draw a line, you know, angle it. But they do want every advisory page to have that green line somewhere on it. Same with the compass, like maybe, here, let me grab the compass this way. Maybe you put it up in here. I don't know. Here, they also want this graphic of the X marks the spot somewhere on there. So you can mess around with that. It's pretty simple. Like let's take Darby's picture here too. To change it, you can do effects. Like here's a frame. You can change the background. You can make all of your students into a cloud. You can do different shapes. You can do different edge effects. So this is where it gets fun and kids can just kind of mess around with it. That's the basics for now. And as soon as you've done it, it's saved. You don't need to save it anywhere. As far as dropping in a picture, so let's say you want another photo added in here. You would take the picture, you go to Google Drive, Shared Drive, Students 2019-2020 pictures, and download it that way. And then if you go here, you go to Photos, and Google Drive, Shared Drives. And down here, there will be, I promise. I'm actually making this video prior to Jason sharing that folder with you where it says Student Pictures 2019-2020. My kids put their pictures in what's called bubbles, which is kind of a long, funny story, but let's say that I wanted to add an advisory picture here. Let's say I want this picture like this. I just click on it and pull it in. That's it. And then from here, double click on it. Sorry. And there are more things, and I can edit the photo. You can zoom it in really big and then move it around just to get like that version of it. And again, you can change the side, you can change format. If you want to add text, you just click on text. And then there's some different text in here. You just, again, click what you want and then type it in and pull it over. All of that is pretty basic graphic design stuff that students probably already know how to do. I'm here to help and tutor anyone in it. Also, anyone who's ever been in Yearbook knows how to do that. So you could ask your advisories who's in there and if they could help you or if they could help other students. So that's all I have for now. I'm hoping that your advisor is excited about doing this and just coming up with some kind of creative format within our parameters. All right, so that's it. Be well. Peace out.